right.
How we doing, guys?
Oh, good to see you. Good to see you. Keeping all right? Oh, you're wrecking the place.
Yeah.
How you doing, all right?
Good, good. You'd be disappointed.
It's on a few, yeah. No, that is it. Ian.
Just get a training session out there this morning on Windsor Park. What does it mean to you to be back at your first home game? Second time?
Yeah, it's nice to be back first of all, and it's been nice to be back in Belfast in preparation for the first game, obviously away in San Marino, and to get back here after the game on Thursday night, and then obviously to get to the stadium today is always nice. I always enjoy the session in the stadium. I think the players do too. And we're looking forward to the game tomorrow night. Me personally, of course, it's nice to be back, and hopefully, we get the performance and the result that we all have prepared for, rather.
The stadium became something reported during your first game. Looking at the results, it maybe lost that more recently. What do you need to do to get that back?
I think if you look at our home form over 4 qualification campaigns, the key to us was really clean sheets. I think in 18 qualification games we had 11 clean sheets, and that's key. And in the previous campaign under Ian, they didn't concede a goal at home, so that shows you that the strength of how we were as a team defensively. But obviously you have to find a way to win as well. So that's something that hopefully we can add to that. But I think the backbone of any good Northern Ireland team is obviously the ability to keep clean sheets.
When it comes to finding goals to win games, you said after the San Marino game that you took Connor off to protect him. Is he fit for tomorrow?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, like Connor has an ongoing knee issue which he has to protect at his club as well. And in recent weeks he hasn't played, started that many games either. So we were mindful of the players that hadn't played a lot of first-team football recently. Jamal was in that category as well. So when you get to 65, 75 minutes, you're starting to look to the next game in terms of keeping those players in particular ready for the next game. Daniel came into that because Daniel's had a foot injury this season, and I've seen him in a couple of games this season at Sunderland, and he keeps getting knocks on that foot. So we just wanted to look after those players in particular.
Just lastly for me, when we talk about injured players, we saw Davis and Dallas out there watching the session. How important is it to you that injured players want to keep coming along and being part of the group even though they're not playing?
It's essential, really. It's brilliant for Stephen and Stuart to be here. I think it's good for the medical team to see where they are, obviously get their hands on them as well, and I think it's a bit of a change for the players when you've got long-term injuries like the 2 lads have. Their clubs are brilliant, but sometimes you just need a bit of a change of scenery as well, and they've had that over the last couple of days. And they add a lot. There's a lot of young players in our squad, so for them to see Stuart Dallas and Stephen Davis around it can only be a positive.
Thanks, Ian. Gareth?
You talk about this game about it being two completely different games. What was that Finland going to pose? Obviously, it's home game. It's a different environment altogether. What's the threat they're going to pose given their defeat against Denmark?
Well, look, if you look at the game on Thursday, I mean, they're in the game clearly. The goals came late for Denmark. I think when you look at, I think the real strength in this Finland team is their attacking players. Obviously Pukki, Pojampolo, Lod. They're all established international players. They've got good players in the middle of the pitch as well. Kamara is a very good player that I've seen quite a bit, obviously at Rangers. So we know Finland quite well. We've played them in previous campaigns. The games are always tight, and we don't envisage anything else tomorrow. But if you were asking me, we need our defensive players to be really on their game tomorrow because I believe they've got players. I mean, if you look at Pookie's goal scoring record in international football, I think it's 38 goals and 100 and something caps. That's a formidable amount of goals for a small nation. So as I say, that's where I think their biggest threat will be.
Even at this early stage of the group, obviously it's only the second game, but how vital is it to pick up on all 3 points into the Denmark away next?
I think, look, you always have a sort of figure in your head that you believe that'll give you a chance of qualification. So I always feel that, it's about putting points on the board as early as possible. We've managed to do that with the first game, and if we can do it in the first home game as well, that'll be excellent. Because I think that a home form is crucial. When I look back at previous campaigns where we put ourselves in the top 2 position, our home form was excellent. But we also did pick up points on the road as well. But you've got 15 points to play for at home, and we've picked up 3 away. So ultimately, if we can start with a home win tomorrow, it'll be a big step for us.
Just asking for me, from a personal level, will there be any emotion when you're walking out there with the team tomorrow night and your return?
No, not really. To be honest, if I'm honest, I'm quite an unemotional person in this regards. That.
Paul? No? Yes? Okay. Guy? This guy?
Hi, Michael. Could I just get you to sort of compare when you first came as manager and now, in terms of you as a person and Northern Ireland as a football team?
I think at the outset when I came in, first of all, I was very young and inexperienced, and I had to learn very much on the job. So when you come back into the job after 8 years, you should be able to do it better because you should know what anticipate. I suppose the hurdles and the pitfalls that you have to look out for. It's different. When I came in, I had I think a group of players that they weren't enjoying being international footballers. They weren't enjoying the experience of being away and playing for Northern Ireland. The results reflected that. And it took, it didn't happen overnight. It took us a campaign to change that. It took us a campaign to get the right players in as well. And there's always a transition in that situation. But then we had, I think very successful campaigns. We were always, challenging to qualification. We did qualify, obviously. And the other thing I think with this group of players coming back in is there's more younger players around it than I had available at that minute in time. And that was, a big factor in the decision I made to come back. I looked at the younger players that I believe. I think it's hard. I think people look at Northern Ireland and think, well, when, Evans and Davis and Cathcart and these players leave, what will be left? But there will be a team that will grow behind this team as well. We need, in this campaign, we need our experienced players to give us as much as possible. But we do have some younger players coming through that I think will be the backbone of the team going forward.
Mark?
Michael, how you doing?
Good.
Spoke before the San Marino game and after the San Marino game about the sort of feel-good factor being back. I mean, did that rub an ultra to you after the win the other night?
I think probably Craig will answer that better than me. But yeah, I think look, there's no better. Winning breeds confidence. It breeds togetherness in a group of players. We always talk about culture in sport and cultures in sport and teams. It's difficult to have a great culture in a losing team. So of course winning helps, and it was important for us to get off to a good start. It was important for the younger players to experience that in an important game, and obviously I think with the players that we have unavailable to us, I think it was good for us to show a positive side of the squad, and I think we did that in the performance.
You spoke about Stephen and Stuart coming in and the impact that has on the young players, but it must give yourself and your coach staff as well a lift in the senior players as well.
Look, at these lads have been international footballers for a long, long time, so I think they develop really close friendships as well. I think that that's a big part of playing international football for Northern Ireland. I know that from myself when I see ex-teammates that I bump into at games as well. There's always it's not very difficult to pick up and have conversations and reminisce about the experiences that we had. So yeah, I think that's a really important part of representing Northern Ireland, and those lads in particular. I think everyone's always glad to see them.
Beating teams in and around us in the rankings was a big hallmark of your first spell as manager. That will always be very important again in this
Well, I think, look, we have a group where I think there's a lot of teams, or the teams in the group rather, will all believe that they're capable of beating each other. You look at the game the other night, it was a tight game between Kazakhstan and Slovenia, tight game between Finland and Denmark. So I think, the opposition, the games will be tight, and it's about finding ways to win, the margins to win, regardless of the ranking, because I think at times the ranking can be a little bit skewed. The most important thing, the onus is I've put on our players is like, we are essentially the pot 5 team in the group. But do we believe we're the pot 5 team? No, we don't. So we have to go out and prove that.
Great, maybe a question too for yourself. Just touching on that feel-good factor. Can you maybe put your finger on what it is that Michael and the regime has come in has done to raise the spirits?
Well, I think Michael touched on it. The winning breeds that. I remember thinking back to Hungary away. We got that first away win. We qualified for 2016. I think that was a momentum builder. So I think that's the thing, trying to build momentum. We've obviously got off to a good start, San Marino, so we need to carry it on into Sunday. And if we come away with 6 points from the first 2 games, it's a massive confidence boost for everybody.
And for yourself, sort of seeing Stuart, seeing Stephen,
yeah.
Michael touched on it, you're all very close. It's good to see those boys in and around the camp again.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Before they come in last night, and as soon as you see them, it's like the old times. Everything's normal. Like I said, we're really comfortable around each other. We've been together for a long time, and it's like we've never been apart, really. So it was good to see everyone, and I'm sure they'll bring a little bit more knowledge and experience into the squad, and they can help the young lads. Any questions they have?
Did Stephen have a word for you at all about how you did in his job?
He called me skipper, which felt weird, to be fair. I said, don't call me that around you. So, it's not a term I'm sort of comfortable with. So, try to wind me up a little bit.
And just lastly, obviously you can't decide on Thursday night. You'll lead side out at Windsor Park. It's a whole different experience. I'm sure you must be really looking forward to that.
Yeah, obviously it was great to lead them out at San Marino, but I think it'll be extra special in obviously at Windsor Park. Michael's first game back here as well, so the atmosphere will be brilliant. So, I'm really looking forward to it.
Cheers, Mark. Mark.
Michael, do you think in many ways a game like tomorrow night could suit how we play a bit better than the other night?
Yeah, it'll be a different game, and like we've had obviously, very high level of possession in the game, and having a breakdown, a really 10 men behind the ball. The game essentially being played almost in one half of the pitch, so. It's difficult. Those games are difficult because there's not a lot of space. Sometimes you need a bit of individual play to unlock the door, and you can get anxious. And we scored in the game at good times. That was important for us. You're not going in at 0-0, and then suddenly you're looking at the clock, thinking when are we going to make the breakthrough. So that helped us a lot, and we scored at the right time in the second half. So I think it'll suit us, but we obviously know that the opposition will carry a greater threat as well, and with all due respect to San Marino as well. But these games, the balance in terms of possession will probably be very similar. And but as we touched on earlier, a clean sheet and hopefully another one tomorrow, will be key to allowing us to get what we want from the game.
And Craig, just on the fans the other night, the atmosphere was obviously very good. Is that something the players do actually feed off?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've done it throughout the years, especially at Windsor Park. It's a cliche, but they are literally the 12th man. They get right behind us no matter how the game's going, and it's something we definitely feed off. Obviously, the away fans are great too. They travel everywhere, never cause any trouble, have a good time, and the players definitely notice that stuff.
And just something you mentioned there as well about momentum. It was so key when we qualified for the Euros. The players talked about, even the lads who were at the Euros talked about that, winning the first 3 games of that campaign.
Yeah, I think so. It's something we touched on. We knew we needed to get off to a good start. I think that's the main thing we took from the first few days together. We knew we needed to get a good start against San Marino, which we did, but we need to, obviously it's a different test against Finland. It'll be like a much closer game, we imagine. So, but we're confident we can go in, perform well, and get the points. And like I said, that builds momentum and the confidence.
Michael, is there anything you learned from the squad, maybe from what you have?
Yeah, I think the 3 days leading into the game was pretty intense in terms of the preparation. So you're always assessing players when you're working with them. And a big part of international football is how the player takes the information in, because you're not going to make him much. You're not going to improve a player in 3 days technically, but you're looking for players that understand what you want the team to do in and out of possession. And you see players who are concentrated, who are focused, who take the information in better than others. That's just natural in any squad of players. There's always different individuals. So I think that's what we've learned more about. Certainly the young players have excited me when I've seen them on the training pitch, and some of the new players as well that we've brought in. But yeah, the training's been very, very good. And I think in terms of preparation, it's the one thing that I always say as a manager that I am in control of, less so what will happen in the game tomorrow. But in terms of the team being prepared, I think, we've had a really, really good week.
Thank you, Michael.
Hi guys. Michael, in terms of the versatility in the squad as well, it must be benefit as a manager. An example that we saw was Shea Charles moving into defence and knowing his position he's comfortable in as well. Is the versatility something that you look for, or are you hopefully at one stage going to pin him down to a particular position?
Well, I think we made the decisions in the game on Thursday a little bit around preservation of bodies. If that game had been 0-0, I wouldn't have been making similar substitutions. But I think it is good that we have people. Paddy McNair plays predominantly as a centre back for his club. I see him more as a right-sided midfield player, but he's adept at playing in both positions. Shea is a player that could play in a number of positions, to be honest. He's very high game intelligence for a young player. Isaac Price, I think, would come into that category as well. So yeah, I think it's nice to have that versatility, because we are stretched at the minute with a resource, with our experienced players out. But in a year, 18 months' time, it'll be nice to have a squad and thinking, well, we can play Shea as a 6, or we can play him in our back 3, or we can play him at centre back. And we probably need that, because we'll never ever have probably like the same strength of player, 2 players in each position at the same level. That's ideally what you would like, what the bigger nations have. So certainly that versatility, it helps us, if anything.
And have we seen the beginning of a new winning strike partnership, the link-up play? Certainly the first goal between Connor and Dion, very encouraging.
Yeah, it takes time, that. I think, they're both players that carry a threat in behind. They both work hard, they press together, which is good. I think if you play up in the front 2, you need that. It's a little bit different because Dion does play in a front 2 at his club, whereas Connor plays as the lone striker when he starts. So slightly different for him. But yeah, I think that with the system that we're playing at this minute in time, the front 2 are essential to how the team functions. But equally, I think they're adept at playing off the side as well. So, with the front 3, in whatever system we play, I think Dion can certainly drop into a wide area, and Connor has done that in the past as well. But it's something that, unfortunately, you need time to work on that, and we don't really have time. So I think it's something that hopefully will blossom with all the strikers that we have. And also, when we play in June, we'll have 2 training camps where we'll be able to get a lot of work in that we probably haven't been able to do in these 3 days or 4 days.
Lastly, great. First of all, congratulations on your 70th cap. That's a fantastic achievement.
Thank you.
For it as well. How are you finding, the additional responsibility at the moment? There's younger players in the side, and well, when you have a 19-year-old in front of you, and you did very well. But what's that experience like? International level, big games. Figures for that. How are you finding it?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it before. I've always tried to lead by example, just the way I train and play. But yeah, a little bit more responsibility being captain. I've enjoyed the role. And yeah, I think Michael touched on it. The guys that are coming in nowadays, they're intelligent players. They're good clubs. They're being coached well. So it's an easy transition for them to come into the squad. And yeah, no one's looked out of place at all. They've all fitted in really well. So it makes it that much easier.
Thanks, Michael. Andy, then Stephen.
Hi, Andy.
If I may go back to earlier when you said that there'll be kind of no emotion for you going out of the park. Just wondering, is that a deliberate tool you use to focus on the game, or are you really that unromantic? You don't
You're desperate to see me in tears, really, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a game of football. You know, I think you always have to keep everything's perspective. Look, I don't really know how it'll affect me tomorrow, but I know that I have to be focused more. Than my primary objective will to make sure my head is in the game, and that's where it's been all week. So yeah, look, it'll be. I'm just looking forward to the game. Hopefully, seeing when the stadium or when Northern Ireland rather at their best, the stadium is there's a great atmosphere in it first of all, but there's a real strong bond between the players and the fans, and that's something that we carried with us for a number of years, and I think that's something that's developed and something that we obviously have to reconnect and make sure that that's how the the fans feel about the team going forward. So that's where obviously I'll get the most satisfaction, and maybe who knows, a bit of emotion might come out then.
You're a softie.
Yeah.
Talking about reconnection is what we go on to in terms of players enjoying playing for Northern Ireland, and obviously results speak volumes for that. That's really the fundamental factor. Is there a job to be done there? I mean, I'm assuming they still enjoy coming to play, but maybe results recently they haven't been getting the most out of it, and maybe the young players as well with their enthusiasm and what I've been told, their optimism is maybe infectious as well. We need to reignite that.
I think international football is when you have difficult periods, and all countries have it. To be honest, not just we had a difficult period at the outset of my tenure, which had started before I came into the job. But then you get a group of players like going back to like Dallas, McNair, and they just associate it. Well, we nearly qualify, or we get to the playoff, or we get to another playoff. So their international experience has been different from maybe Craig's and Stephen's and Johnny's, who maybe played through some of the darker days when I think you're really challenged. That's where it's really difficult. It's never nice coming back home. You play your football domestically in England or Scotland or wherever. You come back home to play for your country, and things aren't going particularly well, and you're reading negative media. That's the reality of the situation. No one likes to be exposed to that. So I think we have a lot of players in our group who, for the majority of the time they've been in international football, it's been a pretty positive time for them. So the younger boys are coming in around that now, but you always need those lads that have maybe played through the darker days. Like, they're always there to kind of, I suppose, keep everyone's feet on the ground a little bit, which is very important.
Is that true, Craig? Is that a job you kind of do? You sort of have to keep them grounded, if you like?
Yeah, for me, I always obviously enjoyed coming away, but winning does help a lot. I think that's pretty clear. And we don't want to go back to times like that, so we need to keep on top of everyone and make sure we're all pulling in the same direction.
And you've got kind of, from our perspective over in England, you've got some lads from Premier League clubs beginning to come through. I know that it benefits Northern Ireland to have that attachment, but how much does playing for Northern Ireland benefit them when they go back to, they may go back to Man City, to Liverpool, might be on loan from Liverpool, wherever they go back. How much would coming away with Northern Ireland benefit them at club level?
Well, they're playing against top teams. There's no easy games anymore at international level. Everyone's tactically astute nowadays, and they're playing against different opposition, different styles of play, so it can only benefit them really. And the experience of coming away playing in front of fans at Windsor Park can only be a benefit to their career, definitely.
And is Michael really as unromantic as he's thinking out? Is he a robot?
Well,
Great question.
maybe after a few late nights with
Yeah. Yeah.
But lots of managers do. They all put on the front of, it's all about the game and everything. But you must have seen a softer side too over the years at some point.
Maybe I'll give us a tier or two if we qualify. So maybe we'll look forward to that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Stephen, thank you, Andy. Great questions.
To quote Billy Bingham, tears are extra.
Right.
The great Billy Bingham.
Yes.
Craig, as Michael said, you were one of the ones that were around when it was pretty dark. What does it take for a Northern Ireland side inside the camp to qualify for a major tournament, do you think?
Well, momentum. which we touched on. Yeah, a lot of lads, like Michael said, have been used to success, so they're coming here and we're expecting to get results. And I think that sort of lifts everyone to the same level. Whereas before, maybe we were coming away not expecting much, but I think nowadays we come away and we expect to do well. So the standards have gone up and the pressure's gone up as well.
And do you see within this group, all the young players, that expectation?
Yeah, I think so. They've come into it, and yeah, like I said, the standards are high. Michael keeps the standards high. The coaches keep the standards high, and obviously us experienced players have to do that as well. So yeah, they come into the fold and they know what's expected of them.
Any injuries, Michael? Any more injuries?
No, all good. Everyone's been good. Yeah, no problems at all.
Obviously, Stuart and Steve were out there today. Do you expect to have them for June?
Well, definitely not Stephen, unless we get him to Lourdes or somewhere like that. And but he's not. He's clearly done your research there, Stephen. Yeah, so he's. But Stuart has maybe got an outside chance, I would say. I'm not relying on that. And I know Stuart's desperate. You know, he was desperate to be involved for this game. Maybe a little bit unrealistically, I think, and you know, maybe pushed himself to his own detriment a little bit. But look, the medical team that we have here is top class, and the communication with the clubs is excellent, which I think is very, very important. I think, you know, the clubs appreciate the how we treat the players when they come away, and the sharing of the information. So look, we'll just have to see where Stuart is, really, you know, at that point in time. But it'll be nice when those players start to become available again. And hopefully, you know, with this group of lads, that we're in a position where, you know, there's something for those players to come back and join in at a time when it is exciting. And, you know, that's hopefully that these lads can deliver it for the injured lads.
You talked about a points target in your head. What is it?
I'm not going to share that with you, Stephen, but we know roughly, if you look at history and do your research, you will find that there is a range of points that will get you to you know, a top 2 position.
In your first time as manager, it was a big thing where the whole country was behind you, not just Northern Ireland fans, but even people that have no interest in football. You can kind of feel that building again. I know it's only one result, but how important is that to you and those teams?
Yeah, I think it's important, but I think possibly because we don't live here, it's maybe slightly different. You know, we come in and experience it. And the one thing I felt about France, maybe because we were sort of quite isolated at the tournament, and we weren't aware maybe as much as, you know, the hysteria and how we knew everyone was having a good time. That was pretty evident, but we weren't exposed to it. You know, you're in a training base, you're in a camp, and unless you go and seek it, then obviously it is what it is. And then personally, I choose not to really do that. You know, I choose to sort of focus on what's happening, what the players need, our preparation, making sure everything is right. But, you know, it is nice, but we'll not really see that. You know, if we can, you know, if we're sitting in a good position at the end of this international window, you know, there'll be a lot of positive media leading into June, which is important. I always remember in the first campaign, the difference in the first campaign and the second campaign was like we had 1-2 games, or we had 3 draws out of 4, and the other time we had 3 wins out of 4, and we could easily have had 2 wins and a draw in the first campaign. But from November to March, everything was positive about the international team. Everything that was written, every time the group came up, we were second in the group. So that is an important, because it's the narrative. It keeps the narrative positive. And if the narrative's positive, it only feeds in a positive way into the group of players.
And what will it take to get the 3 points tomorrow, do you think?
We'll have to find, obviously, I think we'll have to play with tempo and energy. We're going to have to defend more than we did in the previous game. Good organisation, which I think we demonstrated in the game on Thursday. And we probably need to be a little bit more, I think, clinical and creative in the final third of the pitch, but we may find that a little bit easier, because I believe there'll be more space on the pitch than what we got on Thursday night. So yeah, that's it. And we need, at the end of the day, to win any game, you need someone to step up and stick the ball in the net. And you know, Dion's done that in the previous game. And I know him and Connor will both be itching to get in the score sheet again tomorrow night.
Last one from Mark. Thanks, Stephen.
Can't wait to see it. What is your message to the fans?
Yeah, my message to the fan. Look, as I said earlier, the fans have been terrific, but it's about the team, you know. So focus on the team. We'll have some young players on the pitch tomorrow night, and they will need to feel that they have the support of the crowd, and that's vital. I think any player, when you go to particularly in an international shirt, you know that you're playing in front of a fan base which is extremely positive and gets behind the team, and that's all we can ask. They always do, and if they can bring an extra decibel to it, then obviously we'll respond to that.
Thanks, everybody. See you
you.
tomorrow. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. So the hidden message is Steve is right positive things.
It wasn't very hidden.
I get that other door.